Greetings, speed enthusiasts!
Today we review the best qualifying runs in the 12-second car category from the 18th edition of the Quarter-Mile Carnival Cup Barranquilla 2025.
We begin with Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette C8.
Cesar Ramos, in his Chevrolet Corvette C8, clocks an initial time of 12.208 seconds.
Next up is Saray Torres in her BMW M340i xDrive.
Saray Torres, in her BMW M340i xDrive, records a time of 12.156 seconds, taking the first position.
Now it's Julio Castro's turn in his BMW M240i xDrive.
Julio Castro, in his BMW M240i xDrive, clocks a time of 12.064 seconds, thus taking the lead in the standings.
Now we have Felipe Rodriguez in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Felipe Rodriguez, in his BMW M340i xDrive, registers a time of 12.190 seconds, placing him in third.
Now it's Carlos Rojas' turn in his Volkswagen Bora GLI.
Carlos Rojas, in his Volkswagen Bora GLI, clocks a time of 12.115 seconds, taking the second position.
Next is Michael Carmona in his BMW 135i.
Michael Carmona, in his BMW 135i, records a time of 12.902 seconds, placing him in 6th.
Up next, we have a matchup between Luis Drift and his 100% electric BYD Sealion 7 versus Jamie Cannon's Honda Civic.
Luis Drift, in his BYD Sealion 7, clocks a time of 12.504 seconds, putting him in 6th place, closely followed by Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic with a time of 12.512 seconds.
Next, we have a showdown between Felipe Quintero's Ford Mustang Fox body and Camilo Bayonna's Toyota Celica with a 2JZ turbo engine.
Tenemos el tiempo de Felipe Quintero.
Felipe Quintero, in his Ford Mustang Fox body, clocks a time of 12.171 seconds, placing him in 4th. Meanwhile, Camilo Bayonna in his Toyota Celica suffers mechanical issues that force him to withdraw from the race.
Next, we have a face-off between Edwin Novoa in his Mercedes A45 AMG and Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette C8.
Edwin Novoa, in his Mercedes A45, clocks a time of 12.564 seconds, earning the 9th spot. Meanwhile, Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette improves his previous time by 15 thousandths of a second, but it's not enough to climb the rankings.
Now we have a duel between Nieder Segura in his 1980 Chevrolet Camaro versus Jamal Chavez's Audi S3.
Jamal Chavez, in his Audi S3, clocks a time of 12.518 seconds, taking the 9th position, while Nieder Segura in his Chevrolet Camaro records a time of 12.704 seconds, placing him in the 11th spot.
Next, we have a matchup between Aquilio Minota's Ford Mustang body and Jamie Cannon's Honda Civic.
Emilio Manotas, in his Ford Mustang, posts a time within the 13-second range, while Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic is unable to improve his previous time.
Now we have Francisco Lafori in his BMW 535i.
Francisco Lafori, in his BMW 535i, clocks a time of 12.086 seconds, taking second place, just 22 thousandths off the lead.
Up next, Edwin Novoa in his Mercedes A45 AMG makes another run.
Edwin Novoa, in his Mercedes A45 AMG, improves his previous time by 414 thousandths, clocking 12.150 seconds, moving from 11th to 4th position.
Next, we have a face-off between Diego Bonilla in his BMW M240i and Jamal Chavez in his Audi S3.
Diego Bonilla, in his BMW M240i, clocks a time of 12.923 seconds, placing him in 14th position. Meanwhile, Jamal Chavez in his Audi S3 is unable to improve on his previous run.
Next, Stick Gonzalez appears in his Audi S4.
Stick Gonzalez, in his Audi S4, clocks a time of 12.274 seconds, placing him in 9th position.
Next, we have a matchup between Miguel Palencia in his BMW M440i xDrive and Saray Torres in her BMW M340i xDrive.
Miguel Palencia, in his BMW M440i xDrive, records a time of 12.163 seconds, placing him in 6th, while Saray Torres improves her previous time with an impressive 12.002 seconds, taking the top spot, leaving just a 2 thousandths margin for anyone looking to beat her.
Next to try is Aquilio Manotas in his Ford Mustang Fox Body.
notas, in his Ford Mustang Fox body, clocks a time of 12.539 seconds, entering the classification in 14th position.
Next up, Luis Drift in his BYD Sealion 7 makes another run.
Luis Drift, in his BYD Sealion 7, clocks a time of 12.422 seconds, improving on his previous record. However, he remains in 11th place.
Now we have Carlos Rojas in his Volkswagen Bora GLI.
Carlos Rojas, in his Volkswagen Bora GLI, improves his previous time by clocking 12.057 seconds, moving from 4th to 2nd place.
The next to make another run is Jamal Chavez in his Audi S3.
Jamal Chavez, in his Audi S3, improves his previous time by clocking 12.359 seconds, moving from 13th to 11th place.
Next, Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette C8 makes another run.
If you're enjoying the video, please support us with a like. Cesar Ramos, in his Chevrolet Corvette, moves from 9th to 7th place by improving his previous time with a 12.166 second run.
After repairing his vehicle, Camilo Bayona now appears in his Toyota Celica.
Camilo Bayona, in his Toyota Celica, clocks a time of 12.893 seconds, placing him in 16th position.
Next, we have a duel between two BMW M240i, driven by Julian Tovar and Diego Bonilla.
Diego Bonilla, in his BMW M240i, improves his previous time by clocking 12.753 seconds, moving from 18th to 16th place. Meanwhile, Julian Tovar in his BMW M240i records a time of 12.801 seconds, taking 17th position.
Next up is Felipe Quintero in his Ford Mustang Fox Body.
Felipe Quintero, in his Ford Mustang Fox Body, moves from 8th to 4th place after improving his previous time with a 12.074 second run.
Next, we have Miguel Palencia in his BMW M440i xDrive.
Miguel Palencia, in his BMW M440i, improves his previous time by clocking 12.139 seconds, moving from 7th to 6th place.
Next, Felipe Rodriguez in his BMW M340i xDrive makes another run.
Felipe Rodriguez, in his BMW M340i xDrive, improves his previous time by clocking 12.172 seconds. However, he remains in 9th position.
Next up is Nieder Segura in his 1980 Chevrolet Camaro making another run.
Nieder Segura, in his Chevrolet Camaro, improves his previous time by clocking 12.329 seconds, moving from 15th to 11th place.
Next, we have Julian Tovar in his BMW M240i.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Julian Tovar, in his BMW M240i, improves his previous time by clocking 12.668 seconds, moving from 17th to 16th place.
The next to make another run is Michael Carmona in his BMW 135i.
Michael Carmona, in his BMW 135i, improves his previous time by clocking 12.528 seconds, moving from last place to 15th.
Now we have Julio Castro in his BMW M240i xDrive making another run.
Julio Castro, in his BMW M240i xDrive, improves his previous time by clocking 12.049 seconds. However, it's not enough to take the top spot on the leaderboard.
Next, closing the qualifying rounds, is Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic.
In his Honda Civic, moves from 14th to 12th place after improving his previous time with a run of 12.337 seconds.
This marks the end of the qualifying rounds. However, from the final of the 13-second car category, two new vehicles have entered this category. The first is Jose Funim in his Audi S3.
Jose Funim, in his Audi S3, clocked a time of 12.958 seconds, resulting in disqualification from the 13-second category and placing him at the bottom of the 12-second category standings.
The other participant joining this category was Abel Brieva in his Audi SQ5.
invincible Brieva, in his Audi SQ5, clocked a time of 12.972 seconds, being disqualified from the 13-second final and placed at the bottom of the 12-second category standings, which concludes with a total of 21 classified vehicles. These drivers will face off in the final rounds in pursuit of the championship trophy, but we'll see that in an upcoming video. Subscribe so you don't miss it.